Welcome everybody. We're here at Bio 2022 here in San Diego, and I have the privilege of having with me Andres Sutt, who is Minister of Entrepreneurship and Information Technology for Estonia. Welcome, Minister.
Thank you, and happy to be here.
If we can start, one of the interesting facts about Estonia is that it is actually the #1 digital country in the world. And so can you talk a little bit about how that fact helps your biotechnology industry?
If I think of biotech, then it's not only science, it's also technology. And this is where the advantage of being digital really plays well into the game. And just behind here, we have a stand of Estonian companies. We have about 120 plus in the field of biotech, and they are really well clustered around Tartu University, which has a long history in medical sciences. And I personally see a big potential in the industry because the digital biotech is about 175 billion market at the moment. It's expected to grow to 1.5 trillion by 2030, so almost tenfold. And we certainly would like to be part of this journey.
In terms of companies, and you said there's over 100 companies that are involved in biotech in Estonia. Are there some companies, and I know you don't want to play favorites, but are there some companies that really come to the fore in terms of innovation, in terms of very promising technologies?
I think the beauty of it is that they are all sort of from a bit different angles, and for example, the 6 present here represent the fermentation part, the different vaccines, different treatments. And this is where I think also Bio 2022 is a great opportunity for our companies to meet across the world and find a new context. And I would use the example of Pfizer BioNTech. Because if you think back, the vaccine was delivered very quickly,
right.
But it was delivered very quickly for a reason. I mean, Pfizer had a capacity to manufacture, but they didn't have a vaccine. BioNTech had a vaccine, but didn't have a capacity to manufacture. So the combination of the two actually made the vaccine to the market. So Estonia is not a land of Pfizers because we don't have many big companies, but we are certainly a land of biotechs. So if we can combine, this is where I think we see a big potential in the market. That there are lots of smaller, innovative companies, and if they come and team up with big names, this is where I think the innovation and science works.
That's interesting. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was contributions made by companies in Estonia to help in terms of vaccines and other technology.
We actually, there is one company also present here, Ikosagen. They actually developed a nasal spray which gives you a protection from a COVID virus. And this was, I think, a kind of innovation what you could use also in the other fields. So it wasn't actually a medical product, but rather something very simple, which was based on a cow's milk, enzymes and other things. So it really shows how much there is potential in the biotech industry.
Very interesting. So in terms of the science community in Estonia, how would you describe, the scientists and your lab-based research, in terms of, infrastructure?
It is clustered around the universities, and which is, I think, a normal course of a development. And then we see, as we are also very active as a startup nation, there are a number of startups in the different fields, and actually in the field of startups we rank #2 in the world per capita. If we talk about unicorns, we have 10 already. So I would like to see 25 by 2025. So there is still 15 more to go. But it's basically clustering around the universities, but also and creating the ecosystem, because all the companies here are actually from university town. They are clustered around the university, and number of them are actually now investing also in expansion in the manufacturing. And on a government side, we also have a support program for applied research, not only for biotech, but for a number of innovative industries. And this is where I think we can also leverage, and we see a growing interest from a business community side to collaborate with the universities, and equally from a university side to see more interaction with the businesses. So I feel at least that this ball is rolling faster and faster.
And in terms of investment, I've seen famously you had the shirt on, a sweater on that said "Invest in Estonia." What can you tell us about the investment community and its approach and response to Estonia?
The number one reason to come to Estonia is the quality of life. I mean, that's the number one criterion for talent globally to pick the location they want to move. Number two, we have a very liberal economic regime. We have very efficient tax system, and also there is increasingly a diverse capital market supply for investment, where we also support from a government side. And people are tech savvy, innovation minded, and willing to go for an extra mile. So I think it's all about the ecosystem, and the ecosystem is very much favoring the talent to come. So Estonia is open for business, and talents are welcome.
And in terms of the next generation, I mean, as a digital country, the number one digital nation in the world, what can you tell us about Estonia's education system? I mean, how early does it start, and what is the education like in terms of digital knowledge and training?
Well, it starts at the age of 6 or 7. And then it goes up to 12th grade when you get your basic education. But I think what really makes a positive difference is also that increasingly more there are private initiatives particularly in engineering, in the field of engineering. We have a joint government, or actually joined by the Founders Association and with some government support. There is a coding school what was opened, and then there are a number of companies who have opened together with universities engineering vocational education outlets. So these are the things what I think make quite a big difference. And at school, we of course also focus a lot on STEM, and that's why we also rank on the top in PISA tests.
Yeah, I mean, we're here in San Diego at Bio 2022. In terms of investment, I mean, U.S. investment is something that you favor, is something that you're trying to encourage. Is it? What can you tell us in terms of American investment in Estonia at this point?
Oh, there is a lot of space to increase because I think the most importantly, what we have seen, there is a lot of U.S. investment into the startup community. I think including to biotech side, very certainly opportunities. This is also one purpose of my trip, also to meet investors in San Francisco to discuss what more could be done in Estonia, and more in general terms. I think as a very much sharing the same values, the US and Estonia, there is opportunity to use Estonia as a launchpad to the EU single market, because EU single market is 450 million people. And whenever it comes to the digital cross-border services, we have also e-residency program, which helps you to settle your affairs from San Diego. If you have a company in Estonia, sort of using the digital signature and making use of all digital government and business services, what we have in Estonia. So these are, I think, the main angles to really develop. And as I said, as very much like-minded nations, I think we can also do more in the business field, and that's why we are here present in Bio 2022 to give opportunities for our companies and to forge the relationships with American counterparts.
Very good. Well, thank you, Minister. I appreciate your time, and stay tuned for more coverage from Bio 2022 here in San Diego.